exhale completely. Going through that one time on your own. I wanted to become a school counselor, and I decided that when I was a kid. A few things as a kid, I really struggled with a lot of anxiety. I have a brother that suffers with severe mental health issues, and he's an alcoholic, so the police were at my house a lot, and I felt really unsupported. So I had a school counselor that at one point I had a really terrible day. We had a really terrible traumatic event at my house, and I was able, that day, a teacher pulled me in to talk to a counselor. That was the first person I remember that was receptive to, like, this is not okay. That was one of the things that pushed me in the direction of wanting to help other people. I didn't get into grad school like I had hoped, and then I got into the mental health counseling program. So I have a master's in mental health counseling and then a certificate of advanced study in school counseling. In 2015, I suffered, my partner completed suicide, and unfortunately he worked with me there and was a veteran and just a whole thing. But I really felt a need to provide more services than what were provided, that we could find for him. I remember when we were trying to find him services through like a clinic, they said, we can see you once every 3 weeks. Or once a month, he was saying, I'm going to kill myself. And I couldn't find him accessible services that worked for what he needed. So it really drew me to provide something. I don't want anybody to have to deal with that. So being a survivor of suicide really drives what I do every single day. It is all one, right? Our holistic part, our mind, body, and spirit are all connected. And mental health is complicated to understand. But often I explain to people in terms of like their nervous system and explaining the psychoeducation around how our nervous system operates. What do we feel like when we're excited? What do we feel like when we're nervous? We all experience those. It's just everybody feels them differently. And some people, when they're so nervous, right, their mind is racing. It's hard. I can't just say stop. Stop thinking about it, right? So many of us are heard, just stop thinking about it. Don't think about that. Okay, well, if I could stop thinking about it, right, I would, but for some reason I can't. I use those comparisons and a lot of analogies with people. If we're putting the wrong kind of gas in our car, it's not gonna operate, right? So if we're not taking care of that part of us, our cars do not operate. That's it. Breathing exercises is really important because breath directly connects to our nervous system. If we think about running, right, and we're saying, okay, I'm running and now I'm gonna stop. What do we need to do, right? We have to slow down our breath, and that's the same way when we're going from our flight, fight, or freeze, sympathetic nervous system, is in order to turn it down so that we can go to sleep is through our breath. Bringing in what you need to heart center. Exhaling what you don't. Things that are really helpful is child's pose, forward folds. Anything that has the heart, the head below the heart, really helps turn down our nervous system. We do is compassionate language of inviting you. I encourage you. Join me if you'd like. I invite you, right? To give them to feel like they have the power versus in some classes and some exercises, it's do this, let's go, let's go, let's go. And that's not it. Practicing that on the mat is all the things that we have to do off of the mat. So we really try and replicate life on the mat, what it looks like off. Therapy is really effective, but the integration in somatic movements, like we did goalposts, right? It's a really huge thing to open up our heart and to heal I do that in therapy with my clients as well as in yoga class. Kids going into junior high, going into high school, transitioning to college, to grad school, there's so many phases of life that creates a lot of distress and anxiety. Even if you're outside of one of those phases of life, there's a lot going on in this world, right? So I think yoga and this kind of movement and practice of meditation is helpful for everybody.